Welcome to not Shardcast. It's kind of a Shardcast, but it's not a Shardcast. I pitched Avatar Cast that is still under development. But this is a podcast where
Shancast?
a Shancast.
Sorry,
That's
or Shalcast. Yeah, Shallancast.
That's spoilers for 15
Shan.
seconds from now, unless we keep talking over each other, in which case it's spoilers for 40 seconds from now.
I think it makes it better.
I agree. This is a podcast where we talk about Brandon Sanderson things because we like Brandon Sanderson things. We also like Brandon Sanderson. And what we are going to talk about today is less about and more with, because we've got a couple of special guests on the show today. If you are watching the video feed, or if you've read the description of the video or the title of the video, you know what we are doing. But if you are catching this from a stranger's car on the highway, you don't. So we're going to talk about Worldhopper Ball stuff with a couple of the actors from the Worldhopper Balls that happened over at the last Dragonsteel Nexus and the one before. So let's do a round of introductions, and then we'll get a little bit more into what's happening here. I am Argent, and joining me is, who do I pick? I pick Savannah.
Hi, my name is Savannah Carrasco. I played Shallan in the 2024 Worldhopper Ball, and I was a ballroom dancer in the 2025 Mistborn Ball. Super exciting.
Very cool. Also joining us is another special guest, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Whitcomb. I played Shan Elariel in the 2025 Worldhopper Ball, and I'm just excited to be here with all these lovely Cosmere people.
We're excited to have you.
We are thrilled to have both of you. Also, from in our own corner of this Shardcast boxing match is Aon.
Hello, I'm here and I am so not ready to box, but that's okay because this is actually an interview.
Great. And someone who is ready to box. Hi, Eric.
I'm shocked the order you did any of this as the usual host. I even gave you the overlay and you're like, no, I'm not going in order of that. Hi, I'm Eric.
Oh, no. Okay. I don't do that.
Great.
So here's my thing. Hi, I'm Evgeni, by the way. Or Argent. Oh, all right. We do names first and then nicknames. Anyway, Evgeni is Argent.
I wasn't going to
Argent
comment on that, but that's fine. No, we'll keep the show moving. It's fine. This is going great.
I figured you usually go last when you host, and so I gave you the penultimate position in the introduction. When I'm I also have a process.
That's not.
I also have a process.
Well, I'm the one making the overlay, so. Anyway.
So, as we have cleverly foreshadowed 15 minutes ago, we've got Worldhopper Ball actors here, and we're just going to talk about some Brandon Sanderson things, maybe other Brandons if we decide to. We'll talk about Worldhopper Ball things, maybe we'll talk about Nexus things, maybe we'll talk about like general like fandom stuff and acting stuff. And we will go and explore the dark woods of whatever tangents we encounter in this episode. So, yes, we definitely did a very formal poll, even though people were saying that we didn't. And Savannah, question the first. How familiar were you with Brandon's works before you were cast into your exceptionally well-performed role of Shallan in the 2024
Agreed.
The Wedding of Shallan Nadalin?
I was like fairly familiar. So my big thing is that I grew up in like the same town as Brandon Sanderson. So I've just kind of always known him as like the dude down the street, who wrote books. And so, like he was never a big thing. Like something fun is the first time I ever met. First time, like legit, I was 6 and he spoke in my elementary school. And all I took from that was the fact that he was very tall, and I thought he was lame because I was illiterate and he knew how to read. So
he is very tall, though. He's really tall.
Hey,
he's like intimidatingly tall,
yes,
and I don't.
It is true. It is true.
I think you're like I'll get. So like when Anyway, but I remember I read a little bit of Mistborn. Actually, funny, I DNF'd the first Mistborn in high school after like the first couple of chapters. Because I was a high school kid and I wasn't really into it, and I was also just going through like high school. Then I circled back around to it, and it's very good, very good. Tress and like, you know, Stormlight Archive, and you know, so but like I've known him as I've gone to conventions. I remember when the first Dragonsteel Nexus was at like the Springville Library, and I was like down the street, and it's like 5 people showed up. Like, you know, the fact that he's become such a huge like overnight success is really weird, because him and Brandon Mole are just like kind of here, and everyone got him confused with Brandon Mole, and I'd go, they still do. I tell people, I'd be like, oh yeah, I did like a ball for Brandon Sanderson. They go, oh, he did the Candy Shop Wars, huh? Fablehaven. And I'm like, oh, not quite. What's funny is that my father has done some acting things for Brandon Mole, but we'll get into that. But my dad was actually in the 2025 Worldhopper Ball. He was one of the Steel Inquisitors. So.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
I don't want to be that person, but I guess I'm canonly a Mistborn, so sorry.
Yeah. If you're in the Worldhopper Ball, then you know. Yeah. That's how it works.
So yeah, like just read Tress and all those books, and I love fantasy. So I've kind of just always been aware of his books, and I've always really enjoyed them. I mean, he's very, very, very talented at what he does, you know? Yeah.
And we'll get into how you got attached to the casting and the ball in just a little bit. But I'm going to put Emily on the spot, because you've been dodging questions for one question so far. Same question. How familiar?
So for me, super fan. So I going into the Worldhopper Ball had read everything up until I hadn't read any of the Skyward series. I hadn't read The Emperor's Soul. I hadn't read, gosh, I'm trying to think, Warbreaker, which everyone is always so intrigued as to how I skipped through Warbreaker and Elantris. But I started with the Stormlight Archive. And I think that ended up working really well for me and my personality and my reading style. I'm an audiobooker, so I, you know, love Kate Redding and Michael Kramer. God, I almost forgot his name. So I did all of that, but I kind of read Mistborn Era 1 and Era 2 in between my Stormlight read, which is interesting because I did The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance. Then I did Mistborn Era 1. Then I did Oathbringer. Then I did Rhythm of War. Then I did Mistborn Era 2.
That's a reasonable time to do that.
Yeah, right. Then I did most of the secret projects that were out at the time. Then I did another reread and then finished Wind and Truth. So pretty familiar, super fan. My husband got me into it. He is also a super fan, but now he says that I supersede his fandom. So
aha, you're super.
I mean,
super.
Sounds like it.
What what sort of time frame year-wise did both of you start like getting into things, like reading your first Brandon books? Not the high school one, Savannah, but you know.
Well, I have bad news for you because I'm only 19 years old. So my high school experience was kind of like Tress was like my first, like I consider it my first like finished Cosmere novel, because like I had read parts of his works, but I'd never gotten around to really finishing them. But I don't know. I just read like a lot of Stormlight and Mistborn here and there.
Yeah, so you have not been alive when Brandon.
Like, I haven't been alive to tell you enough. Like
you were not alive when Brandon was not an author. That was published. So.
I mean, I met him when I was 6.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
wow.
you said that thing about 6 in the elementary school, And in my brain, I was doing math of I know when Brandon has visited schools. We have records of that. I don't like this math.
See, this is why I asked when you I did the roundabout question.
Wait, to two math geniuses here.
I mean, it's not,
It's not rocket science, one might say.
Hey.
What about you, Emily? When about did you start getting into things?
Yeah, so mine was like fall 2019, but 2020, 2021 was like the heavy, just straight through like 50-hour books, book after book after book.
COVID's a good time for that, to get involved with Brandon books, for sure.
And a brief follow-up. During the pre-show and just chatting before the show, both of you mentioned that you are familiar with our little corner of the fandom. Do you wanna talk about that? Do you wanna just like a little some?
My best friend's a really big fan of 17th Shard. And
really?
Oh yeah. Oh, they were so. I was like, yeah. I'm going on a like a podcast with 17th Shard, and they were like, it's like the same, and they were like, you're just casually going to go talk to the 17th Shard, like, and I was like, yeah, but I'm a nerd. I like listening to you. You guys have super interesting takes.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
I do like hearing, and it's like really cool hearing your background as like a math professor.
Yes.
And like how you have this like magic continuity perspective that I never even thought about. Like truly, you guys were talking about rocket science, and I was like, I liked the floating spren guys. I liked the stick was funny. Like,
You'll find this funny that in 2014, I had a word problem on a take home that like mentioned like the shattered planes and shard bearers and things. And so that student posted on the forums, I think my professor is a Sanderson fan. And I was like, oh, hey, that's me.
That's crazy.
I run this website.
Yeah. So we're good friends now. So that's very funny. It's amazing. So
you definitely do that every time.
My history teacher was like talking in a history class and was like, anyone read The Way of Kings? And I like raised my hand. She's like, okay, Savannah, of course you read The Way of Kings. Who else? Does anyone else read The Way of Kings? And then it's funny. And she like showed up at my cafe. I work at a cafe as like a barista. She showed up and she's like, played Shallan Devar now, huh? Yeah. She's like, I gave you your start in this world. Don't forget that, girl. I love this woman. She's everything I want to be when I'm older.
It's true.
That sounds incredible.
Awesome. So for me, I was never really chronically online until maybe, like 2021-ish. Well, I was online 2021, chronically online probably in the last 2 years. So for me, I didn't even realize that Brandon Sanderson had content creators and people with podcasts and all of these wonderful things. So I was just kind of reading and talking to my husband. Thank goodness I had him, or else I would have exploded. Because when you read Brandon Sanderson, you immediately need to talk about it.
Yes.
So for me, I started finding all of these online accounts, like definitely like the Cosmere Academy, like all the big heavy hitters. And then someone was like, oh, well, there's like the Coppermind and 17th Shard and all these websites. And so from the websites, I found the podcast and then started really listening to the podcast, I would say like within the last year. For me, I love listening to it while I work or while I do things around the house. So for me, it'll take me about, I don't know, like 3 weeks to get through an entire Shard posting. Right. So like I'll listen to like half an hour at a time over the course of a few weeks. So I'm glad that I would like them to be more frequent. But at the same time, I find a little bit of reprieve in the fact that they're not as frequent because I can actually finish them in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, it feels like every other week is probably a pretty good cadence for that speed, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I was going to say it sounds like we're getting ahead of you on that one, but
Yeah, well, it's like Critical Role, where you're like, I can't watch it, 4 hours at a time. I have to, wait until Monday, watch the re.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole 280 episodes of Shardcast, which is crazy. That's the most recent number that we hit. So there's plenty. Yeah, there's someone going through and finding some very funny things that we said in 2019 that we just absolutely nail it for Wind and Truth. It's very funny.
Weird hindsight.
Definitely the purpose of being around so long, though, is that you can go back and be like, oh, these were our predictions, and here's what we said, and have that content.
It's every now and then. You might not be familiar with this, but Brandon and a few of his friends used to have a forum that they kind of ran and posted writings in, and like did brainstorming, the Time Wasters Guide. The forum is no longer active, but it is archived as like a read-only copy. It's somewhere on the 17 shard, if you were curious.
Yep.
But you can go and look at that. I think it was archived in 2009 or something like that.
No, it was 2011 because our site had already existed. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. But every now and then I get nostalgic about it, and I go look at my 2008, 2009, 2010 like posts on that forum, and where I was trying to like crack the magic systems of things and figure out what the shards were gonna be.
I was 17 and talking, and now it's like Peter's VP of editorial and just chatting there, and Brandon just. This was the time where Brandon hadn't even hired Peter, where Peter was just like shocked that it's like, oh, Mistborn, the shards, that's connected with Dragonsteel stuff, and only Peter had read it. And so Peter was reading this for the first time. So yeah, you can.
I think he was one of the first people who asked whether this Hoyd and that Hoyd were the same person.
Yes. So this is way back. This is way back.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. But so you can look at those. Yeah.
So do you guys want to walk us through the process, or if we're starting with Savannah again, like starting with how you guys auditioned for your roles and ending with the balls themselves? How did that process kind of go? How did you get into it? What was it like working with people?
Yeah. So I actually got my audition. I got the casting call for Shallan through a friend of a friend. Actually, I had a friend who had received it for Dalinar, who had received it from another person, who had received it from a production manager that we both work a lot with. So it just kind of trickled its way, and they were like, hey, I think you'd actually be a really good Shallan, and you should audition. And I laughed, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, that'll be fun. There's no way I'm getting that, but like, sure. Yeah, why not? I was like fresh out of high school. I was like 18, and I was like, okay, they're like want someone who's like young and I don't know. And I'm like, oh, this is so I got all dressed up. Yeah, I got all dressed up and I did my audition, but I only got the audition itself was her monologue from Oathbringer. She talks about, she goes, have you ever considered, Bridgeman, that that bad art does more for the world than good art? And she does that whole thing. And I remember doing that. And I only got that thing like 2 days, I think, before it was due. Like, I had no time to prepare. So I just spent really a lot of my time. I called my best friend up, who's a Cosmere historian, and I was like, help. Like, I was like, I low-key hadn't gotten to Oathbringer yet. And I didn't realize that she didn't end up with Kaladin. So when I read the casting call, I went, what? I'm supposed to be married to Kaladin? I was like, what do you mean? I was like really confused. I was like, wait, what? I was confused because they had me doing a scene with Kaladin, and I was like, what's going on? I was like, okay. I was like, help me. And so I literally submitted. I was very busy. I was booked and blessed at this time. I was working 3 jobs. Right?
Oh, no.
And I had an hour to shoot it I submitted it the minute before it was due. I know for a fact I was the last audition. Brandon told me that Shallan was the most submissions they got, so they got through all of those people,
Wow.
and then I was last.
Well,
So,
first or last probably might, be the most memorable,
Sure.
if you're going in order, potentially. But
so I did it, and then I submitted it, and I went, okay, well, there's that. And I sent out into the ether, and I didn't hear anything back, and that's kind of just how it goes. I moved on. I forgot I auditioned for it because I was doing so many. I was in 2 other shows at the time, and I was also juggling like a job, like a survival job. And then out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, I get an email at 9 or 10 at night. It goes, "Hey Savannah, we are pleased to officially offer you the role of Shallan." And I screamed, and I was like, "Oh, they forgot about me. What's going on?" And then I went, "Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Now, how am I going to do this? Because I'm in 2 shows right now. And I'm going to have to leave those shows for a weekend to do this." I couldn't respond until I was able to get my like double / like understudy to like go on. And I was like, the thing is that she told me, she was like, "That's the 1 week I need you. Like, I need this week." And I remember I was like, "Buddy, hey." So you remember when you told me that this was the 1 weekend that you really needed off? I really need your help because I just signed an NDA and I can't tell you what it's for. But it's really, really big. And she goes, "Yeah, I'll make it work." So shout out to Ivy Dunbar. The only reason I was able to perform in that ball is because of her.
Thanks, Ivy.
Thanks, Ivy. Yeah.
Oh my
and
goodness.
then I think as soon as I had 3 weeks at that point, by the way. I auditioned back in like the beginning. I think it was October 12th.
Okay.
Maybe. Or maybe it was. No, it was September. It wasn't even October. It was in September because it was right during FanX.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was right during FanX because I remember telling my best friend in an elevator going down. I went, "Yeah, I got an audition for Shallan Devar," and he went, "What?" And I was like, it's like, "Yeah," I'm really excited. He's like, "Wait, this is big." Trey is a big fan. Shout out to Trey, my love of my life. Anyway, so then like the day I got in the clear, I got the email in November, or not November. Yeah, like end of October. I had 3 weeks before the event. I went, okay, well, I have to read the entirety of the Stormlight Archive in these 3 weeks, which trying to do when you're juggling 3 jobs is very hard. So I just started reading the book and just letting it sink in as much as I could. But those books are huge. I don't recommend anyone read the Stormlight Archive in that short of a time. Let the books sit, digest them, let them process, and then get to the next one. Because after Words and Radiance, I was like, how am I supposed to read the next one? I literally was like dragging myself to the finish line. Because after Words of Radiance, I was like, then I got to the climax of Oathbringer, and I was like,
it just keeps continuing.
It just keeps going, and you're like,
Sanderlanche.
Yeah.
The Sanderlanche is, yeah.
It's real.
Do not mess around. They are real. And so anyway, I started reading the books. And then once I was able to read the books, then I went through them again. But I only read Shallan chapters because I didn't have time for that. I was like, oh my gosh. So then I went through all the Shallan chapters, and I just started taking notes, and I started creating myself a timeline, because the thing I was most scared about in my contract was that they said you're going to be improvising with guests. I went,
Yeah.
Okay, this is a very, very how do I say, smart fandom, and are really knowledgeable. And if I'm not knowledgeable, they will eat me alive, right? And so I
wish I could disagree with you on that.
I really had to know what was going on and understand the terminology of things. Like, it really felt like I was sitting in history lessons, and I was doing, like, it truly, like, I've never prepared as much as I've prepared for Shallan before. I've never had to relearn different habits that we have that they don't have. For example, the fact that I didn't have access to my arm at all. And I couldn't touch people with my arm. I couldn't even touch my husband with my arm. And so it was like, and I had to I couldn't swear. You know, I had to use all of the storms and the damnations. So leading up to the event, I had to retrain my brain to say storms and damnation. And because the last thing you need is Shallan saying a swear word and people like, if I did, I would have printed it off and I told me that I would say that like Wit taught me it. Does it mean anything specific or something? I don't know.
That's pretty good though, to be honest.
You know, I feel like Wit taught it to me. Does it mean something I'm supposed to know about? But
that would have been really funny though.
Yeah, so it's like just understanding and then the backstory, and then you get the script, and then you look at the script. And I remember in the first draft of the script, I think I had 2 lines. I think I spoke twice at the very end. And I was like, oh, I don't speak. Okay, cool. So that was the first draft of the script. I only spoke at the end when he gives that long speech to Shallan, and then I make a joke. And then I start talking and he goes, all right, that's enough. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. You know? But later they added a lot more with like the Kaladin and Shallan and Adel Scene, and then the whole Chana section. But I was like 2 lines and I was like, okay, very unique challenge. How do I take the most, in my opinion, the most challenging and the most, how do I say? I feel as though Shallan has the most depth that I've read. She is a chasm when it comes to what makes Shallan Shallan. And she's so much, like there's a lot there. And I was like, okay, how do I portray this person without saying anything? Like, how do I tell you, how do you look up and go, oh, that's Shallan, without me having to say something funny or say something, I don't know, like how do I capture that person by just existing in that space with you? And that was the challenge. So I really had to look at the text and say, okay, why is Shallan not speaking? Right. And I had to make a bunch of justifications as an actor as to why Shallan would be more quiet. And she's probably really anxious. And I was able with Oathbringer, she's really anxious. She leaves early. She literally dips out early. And she's like, all right, that's enough. I'm going to go home, you know? And not only the added stress of it being a public celebration, it's with people she's never met before from completely different worlds. And that is terrifying. So not only she also feels like she has to be brightness Shallan Devar. Right, if that makes sense. She's literally marrying Prince Adolin Colin, right? You know, she's marrying into this big royal family, and she has to be royal and elegant. She feels like she isn't, you know? Like, and at least this is the approach that I took, was just constantly asking questions about the script. And when she does speak, why doesn't she? And that influenced a lot of the choices I was able to make. There were a lot of nonverbal, like with Yasuna, and the dance. The dance was really the part where I remember me and Jackson got on a video call before the second script read. And I went, I will not be able to do this if we just sit and we do a waltz for 2 minutes. Like, no one's going to care. It's going to be boring. And it would be a disservice to their relationship if we just happy and smiling and we're going to dance and we love each other. Like, I think we have 2 minutes to really show the dynamic of this relationship. And the thing that we both really agreed on was this idea that Adolin is a very grounding presence for Shallan and is the grounding rock for her. And Shallan loosens him up and allows him to be a little bit more free and be more than the Blackthorn son and be more than Adolin Colin, you know? And so it's like, what we wanted to incorporate with the arc was seeing how, also, I have, anyway, so with the dance, I know I received heard someone who disagreed because I went with the path that I don't think Shallan's a good dancer. And I know that some people actually disagreed with that because they pointed out the fact that she's a noble lady, you know, she's high, and she would probably know how to dance and she would know how to carry herself in such situations. And I think that's a good point. But you know what? I'm going to do you one better because you're thinking of nobles and like light eyes from our world, but from their world, men and women don't dance at all. They're segregated. If they were to have a traditional Alethi wedding, they wouldn't have danced. It was kind of like a tradition break. And I know that because it was kind of funny when they were pitching the dance, Brandon was like, they wouldn't dance. And they're like, it's a ball, Brandon. We need some dancing, okay? And he was like, they wouldn't dance. They would be on two sides. They wouldn't do that. And like, wait, just give us this, okay? And so he was like, okay, I'll give you that. So she's not only never danced before, because dancing doesn't look the way we think it does. She's never danced with a man before, let alone in front of a bunch of people she's never met before. So I think my canon, Shallan, was not a good dancer and was extraordinarily nervous. And what was so sweet was this kind of arc of Adolin grounding her and making her feel safe and pulling her back into Shallan, you know? Because a big thing I wanted to incorporate into the performance was all of Shallan, because I knew that Shallan is a lot of things. There's a lot of things. There's just a lot of things to different people. A lot of people, when you talk about Shallan, they immediately think of Way of Kings, the like bright-eyed scholar who's a little annoying and younger on the side. And then some people think of Words of Radiance and her whole spy arc, you know, and her con artist and her being sneaky and conniving and her whole veil arc. And then some people think of Oathbringer, and then they think of Oathbringer and they think of her complete identity crisis. And then you get to Rhythm of War, which hadn't happened yet in the story, so I tried to stay away from Rhythm of War Shallan as much as I could. But they think of all of the different personalities have equal say in Shallan more, and they're more louder than they were before. So I wanted to be able to incorporate all of those so that everyone felt, because those are all Shallan, you know? And it's a very similar process to go through as an actress. You go through Shallan's arc while you're trying to get in her head, which is, okay, so which one is Shallan? Which one is she? Do I play it really witty? Do I play it really nervous and uncomfortable? Do I play it like Veil? Do I play where like I'm cool and collected? Do I play it like I'm Radiance and I am here at a wedding and I'm royal? Like, where do you even start with that? And it was such a beautiful journey for me to find all of those different moments for all of those different parts of her. Because I think back to Oathbringer, which is when he talks about, oh, I'm getting emotional. I always get emotional talking about Shallan. He talks about finding the balance, you know? And that's what I love so much about this photo that I have, which it reminds me of finding the balance, which is that you were all there, you know, on her big day. And that like on her really special day, she was able to find it, and she was able to manage the witty and snarky comments, but then also the really imposter syndrome. I'm not supposed to be here. I've never had a family before. Like truly, that's something Shallan is thinking is, I've never had a family before. What happens when I finally enter one? Like, and a really big family at that. And so all of those nerves were really real when it came to finding all these different aspects of Shallan that I could incorporate into it. And I'm just so grateful that she was able to find the balance on her special day. And I'm glad that it was able to be reciprocated, because I think you're always going to get criticism for a role, but I knew that there were some people who thought I wasn't witty enough. And to that, I'm like, 4 lines, bro. I got 4 lines. I've only got a set of jokes. I've only got so many. I'm like, I tried to put as many physical comedy gigs as I could, but like, I think that's.
And I think you did, by the way. Like that's it has been a little while since the ball, so I don't remember like all of the specifics anymore. But I very distinctly remember like both while attending and after the ball, like reminiscing of the event, clocking like all of the different layers that I would expect to see from her. Like there was a controlled, radiant version of her. There was the, not quite country bumpkin, but like someone who doesn't quite belong in Alethi high society and is like trying to find her way in there. And also just a little bit of Vale's, okay, I will do this. This needs to be done. I think all of these were present, and most of the examples I can think of are in like body language and physical acting.
I think that came through really well in the dance, like you were saying. I remember some of the like nonverbal, the body language that you had there and stuff. The acting really did come through there. Your preparation in not having as many verbal lines, it paid off. It was really good.
I felt you completely embodied it, even though you didn't have too many speaking lines. Although I can't say I remember it was that low. So
well, I
understand.
Like you have 2.5 hours and you have like 8 people, and these are all people's favorite characters. Like I totally get it. I understand, and I'm not like, where was my lines? No, but
it's kind of her wedding, though.
That dialogue is how, or at least a lot of the times, it was a very interesting challenge of how can you only have so many times you get to speak to the audience. And a lot of the times people think that like, dialogue is when you act, right? And so sometimes it's like trying to find, it was fun. It's fun. But like the fun part is the improv, and you create like, I think a set of like fallbacks, of like, okay, this person asked me about this. I mean, like these simple catchphrases you can use. You can ask Emily about that, because that girl was very, very good at that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, she was very good at that.
You guys paved the way, though. You guys were the OGs. I couldn't have done what I did without you.
What was easy, though, about kind of the thing about, though, like the improv from like a Shallan perspective is like people are like ushering you in and ushering like photo, like, hi, brightness. Have a good time. Thank you for coming. Like it was very surface level until the people who turn to you and try to pick on you and try to, break you because it's funny. And then you turn into Vale and you tell them to get in line for the wine and leave her alone.
Did you have a background in improv before, Savannah?
Oh,
you done? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because that just feels so stressful to me, having done just a bit of acting, just the open-endedness of that, of like you are performing the role, but also the improv. It's very intimidating to me.
I feel like I am always improving when I'm on stage. I know that I am not. I have a set dialogue, but my internal dialogue is different every single time. And my thoughts when I'm on stage, I'm asking questions about the way that person just said something, or what does that mean for me, or different things. They call them discoveries in acting, which is where you just get different discoveries. So what feels natural about improv is you just have to really understand the character and what they would do in stressful situations, because you are in a stressful situation. So my approach with Shallan, with being like, hi, I'm meeting with people, thank you for coming, and and just being as, oh my God, I hope you don't see that I'm freaking out right now and I'm just smiling through it, and, is a lot different than 2025 Worldhopper Ball, where if I don't know what to say, I'm like, why are you talking to me? Why are you speaking? Did I ask? No, I didn't. And I make fun of you and I walk away. It's like, so anyway, Shallan was a beast. I've never prepared as much as I prepared for Shallan. Simply because she's just she's a mountain. I wanted to do her right. I didn't want to just be a pretty face. I didn't want to just be the dress. Like I knew the dress was going to be amazing, and I didn't want to be the bride. I didn't want to be, oh, she looks so pretty, and her wedding is so pretty. Like I wanted her to be, because Shallan has so much substance and so much conflict, and
It's so hard to express on a face if you're just sitting there. Yeah, it's really hard.
And it's a happy occasion, and so you have to balance the like nerves with also funny, and I'm gonna poke at you and stuff like that. But then an uninvited guest shows up, and then you're like, I have to pretend like I'm okay, you know?
Well, that's fine. She's family.
And you, well, I guess you wouldn't have read Wind and Truth then, because Evgeni and I were beta readers, so we're like, oh yeah, it's Shallan and Adolin's wedding. I know exactly what's going to happen at
They
there.
told us in the script read. They said, all right, guys, don't tell anyone. This isn't a spoiler. This is a spoiler, but yes, Shanna is Shallan's mother. And I was sitting there, and I was like,
what?
yeah. Like, and she's gonna show up. Not only is that like happening, but also she's gonna be there. Yeah. And she's also gonna charge at you. And I was like, oh, okay. like literally in the script, it's like Shanna runs to the stage and Wit bodies her. No, I'm kidding. Like, no, but like she was instructed to like the whole cue line was that she's walking around, she gets into a specific place, we make eye contact, and then she starts charging towards the stage. And then that's when Wit sees the fear on my face. That was Jackson's cue to, oh, go. And then he goes and he sweeps her up and takes her out.
Wow.
And my favorite part just always was hearing Wit go, sure, like he's like yelling at Shanna and he's like dragging her off. And then Adolin's like, Shallan, are you all right?
he truly is the perfect idiot. I love it.
She used to see that? And he's like, are you okay, Shallan? What's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. No, let's party. And then we get up and, it's fun.
Amazing.
Just internal trauma,
It's just so funny. Adolin would be like Wit would be screaming and like throwing Shanna out. Adolin's like, what's happening? Are you okay?
It is perfect.
He's not the sharpest shard blade in the shed.
No, he is not.
He's trying.
He's
doing his best.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they cut in magical ways and don't need to be physically sharp. Or
that's true.
Mentally, I guess. I do want to give you a bit of a talking break.
Yes.
Sorry.
And
no.
Go to
this
Emily.
Is fantastic.
It truly, I can sit here and listen to you talk about that for hours. And I would, but we also have Emily in here, and I want to see how she's going to top all of that.
She will. You haven't seen. Did you bring it? Did you bring the copy of Mistborn? Emily, please tell me you brought it.
Oh, the annotated one?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Not the annotated one.
Is it? Yeah, is that the one with all of the tabs in it? When I saw it, I wanted to vomit. It looked awesome.
I took all the tabs out. And
is that?
Just had it down, but I have.
Is that custom bound?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nice.
So I actually reached out to Savannah because I attended the 2024 Worldhopper Ball. I didn't even know this was a thing until people posted about it, and I was like, "Oh, Dragon's Steel, very cool." As I said, not chronically online at that point in time. Now very different. But at that point, I reached out to Savannah. I had seen people's recordings of the dance of everything. And I was just like overwhelmed, first of all, with gratitude because no one, like we've all, gushed about Savannah. No one, I think, could play Shallan like her. People are very talented. Everyone has a lot of talent. No one could play Shallan like Savannah has and does and will.
Good luck to Apple.
Yeah, well,
that'll still be awesome, dude.
Yeah,
pretty.
We could just
put in the casting call for that too.
Yeah.
That's a whole different.
Yeah.
But so I reached out to Savannah, and I was just you're amazing. Like, thank you so much for bringing her to life. You did a great job from what I can vicariously live through others. And so I then ended very nonchalantly, like, how does one get involved? Because I I was just thinking at the time, like, oh, I'd love to volunteer backstage. I would love to, do something, anything to help the Sanderverse, the Cosmere. And so she was like, oh, just reach out to Paladin Creative. They ran the whole thing. So at that point, it was obviously Dragonsteel Nexus takes place in December. So I waited until after like the holiday season because I knew no one was going to be checking, and it was going to be a lot of decompression for Paladin. So in January, I reached out just through like their inquiry board on their website. And I said, hey, here's my website, my acting website. Here are my other skills that I can bring, just volunteering. And I literally said, if you need anything at all, please let me know. I would be more than happy to just like hand out pamphlets. I just need, when you feel like that, it's like this powerful like urge to just give everything you have to something that you're passionate about.
I just well, hey, you are speaking with a bunch of beta readers on the call who
right.
are a voluntary test audience for Brandon's books.
Literally running 17th Shard and the Shallan. So,
280 episodes. I know.
Preaching to the choir. So I was just like, I have to let this community know how appreciated they are, and Brandon Sanderson know, like, I need this to reach more people. So if I can offer myself and my services and my body to this, I will. And Monica at Paladin Creative immediately wrote back and was like, oh my gosh, we've added you to our they had like a list. We'll keep you in mind. So I was like, amazing, cool. Like deep breath. I've done it. That was the hardest part, reaching out. Because you think, okay, well, I'm just me and I don't know. And how can I help you? You're Paladin Creative and you're Dragonsteel and you're Brandon Sanderson. Like, what can I possibly do? So I had reached out, and then like Savannah said, in the industry, you typically like reach out and then you try to push it from your mind. If you think about things and you're constantly worrying, you will more than likely crumble under just the anxiety of it all. And so I was like, okay, like pushed it from my mind, but was still always kind of there because I was still reading the Cosmere, still trying to catch up. And in June, I reached out again and I just said, hey, it's been 6 months. I'm not really sure if anything's changed. Like the briefest of emails, like 2 sentences, not really sure if anything's changed. If you still can use me in any capacity, please let me know. Because at that point I was starting to book more and I needed to actually keep my schedule open. But then at that point, my husband and I decided we were going to Dragonsteel anyway, because we had never been before. Huge Sanderson fans. The Worldhopper Ball had obviously already done a fantastic job in 2024. So we, bought our tickets. And in July, I got the audition material, or maybe it was like end of June. I got an email from Paladin Creative that said, here are the roles that we are looking for. If you think that you could portray anyone, please let us know. And so I immediately wrote off everyone but Shan.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm way too old for Vin.
Sure.
I'm way too tall for Vin.
Sure.
So like just demographically, I was like, nope. As fun as that would be, like Vin is actually not one of my dream roles, which is interesting because a lot of people love her. I think she's, like you said with Shallan, like very layered, very dynamic, very convoluted. Definitely not as convoluted, I think, as Shallan. But I was just like, oh, beam, like bullseye target Shan. This is what I want. So I met with an audition coach because I knew I really wanted this. And with most auditions, you don't have a lot of time. For us, they gave us almost a month before the submission line. So sorry,
they're learning. They're getting their process, clearly.
Yeah.
So, in June versus September, yeah.
Yeah, well, and I think they had a very different, I know they had a very different audition process because of certain things that had transpired last year. And so they actually had like an actual casting director this time named Sarah, who was amazing, who was actually Chana last year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
So it's always fun when people go, hey, I have these things that I can do, and then people actually take them up on their offer. So
and can I just add real quick?
Yeah,
Right.
free.
Eleanor Cole got cast like the Monday before the ball. Like, so it's really awesome that like they were having you audition back in July, and
yeah, they're like, we can't have another thing with Eleanor ever again. We need to do this earlier. Yeah, that's fair.
It's like DEFCON 5.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
We went to like all the agencies. It was fun.
Insane.
Yeah, which is really interesting to hear because I obviously had a very inverse process.
Yeah.
I have too much time on my hands. I have too much time. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, sure.
I met with this audition coach from the Heidi Marshall studio, and I basically spent my hour just fangirling over Shan. And I was like, here's what I know. And she's like, well, it sounds like you have it pretty much in hand. I had read this one, I'd read Termite Archive. So instead of us actually working on the audition, it was literally just me word vomiting. And I was like, sorry. And she's like, well, I get paid either way, so it doesn't matter. And I was like, okay, like you're very real for that.
Easiest coaching session of my life.
Literally though. And so we worked on like a few like grounding techniques, and that was very helpful because I'm a very spicy, colorful, neurodivergent person. So I needed a lot of, hey, how do I get out of my own head? So this is kind of where the book comes in. So I knew I was going to have to reread Mistborn, which I had already read the full series, Era 1, Era 2, once over. So, but I was like, immediately I have to read it again. And this is before I even auditioned. I was like, I need to know, Shan. I need to know her before I submit anything. So I grabbed a thrift store copy of Mistborn. I'm trying to find a good highlighted page that will show you all the colors. And I went through and I picked a different color for each, I guess, aspect of her. So if she was talking, it was, I think, an orange. And if she was being talked about, like her mannerisms, it was in blue. If someone else was talking about her, it was underlined. This is her with Vin, a lot of it.
Sure.
And then I wrote all my notes, and then I had all these tabs, like literal tabs on each
Literal tabs.
page. Yeah, literal tabs. And I went through and I talked with Seth from the Cosmere Academy and wrote a whole thing on that. I talked about her appearance, her personality. I talked about Elend and their relationship. And through that, I am actually now a certified Shan sympathizer. Like, unapologetic. Like, has a lot of faults. But honestly, I feel like Elend is just a piece of poop. So, and then the story behind the actual book is, obviously this is the book I took my notes in, so it was very special to me. And I was like, what am I going to do to remember this time? This very, very special, emotional roller coaster of mostly highs. At this time, just magic, pure magic. So Sunny, the costumer that Savannah had also mentioned, she runs her own like wedding dress, like very high-end costuming. I say costuming, but it's mostly wedding dresses. And she was pulled into costume the Worldhopper Ball 2024 and 2025, as well as the Sandersons themselves.
Sure,
so she made my dress. He gave me a piece of my dress as, homage.
Oh.
Because I didn't know what souvenirs we could or couldn't take, because at that point it wasn't confirmed that the Worldhopper Ball in London wasn't happening. And so normally on a set they'd be like, take your wrap gift, because when you wrap your role you sometimes get a wrap gift. And
we're not doing this production anymore, so it's fine.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, I really want like a mist cloak, because obviously Aerialist Shan has a mist cloak. And I was just thinking and thinking, and then all of a sudden London was announced while we were there. I didn't know that was a thing. And so then all of a sudden they were like, well, you can't really take anything. So Sunny to do that for me was very amazing. And then I shipped this off to Abigail at Sapphire Binding, and she made the whole book. So she bound it.
So
she
cool.
asked me what quote I wanted on the back. So shout out to. So the quote. I'm so glad you asked. So, other men worry whether or not they will be remembered. I have no such fears.
Oh,
Damn.
I mean,
And it's interesting because, let me see, page 514 is when Shan, I mean, spoilers, dies.
Yeah.
And after Shan dies, the quote Sanderson chose to put there was this giant quote from Rashik and the Lord Ruler. Other spoilers. and he talks about how is someone to be remembered. And I thought, what a great, and I don't know if he juxtaposed it that way on purpose, but I took it that way because at this point I was finding anything I could to sympathize with Shan. And I was like, what an interesting juxtaposition between this person who is perceived as, the first like villain besides the Lord Ruler, like a true mean girl.
yeah.
So mean.
It's so mean. And I was like, how do I sympathize with her? And I think that quote brought it home for me was how do we remember people? How do we remember each other? And so of course, after she dies, she's remembered not as a Mistborn. She's remembered as this mean girl in on Scadrial and I almost called it Ellendale, Luthadel. And so anyway, so that was a tangent. So that was how I auditioned and how I prepared for that. And then
Emily, just real quick.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I don't think I've ever told you this. I was out at coffee with the Finns. And they went, have you heard of this Emily Whitcomb girl? And I was like, Emily Whitcomb. I was like, do you have a picture? And she pulled up your picture and I was like, oh yeah, she's like super sweet and like super like she super wants to be involved. Like you should like totally reach out to that. And they're like, we're thinking about it. Like, I never told you about that, but I remember like we were at a cafe and they're like, do you know this person? Because that's simply how it goes in the industry. They go, do you know this person that she mentioned that she knows you? And I was like, or she mentioned you. And I was like, oh yeah, girl, like and now look at us, girl. Look at us. Look at us now.
I love that photo. I love that photo
is
so much.
so good.
It's so iconic.
Just the energy is perfect.
That should just be the thumbnail art that we use, to be honest.
Yeah.
We could, yeah.
So this is all like to Savannah's credit. Savannah got me to lead to that. No, truly, like thank you 1,000 times over because I wouldn't be here because you're right. The industry is very, very network based.
Yeah.
Which is fortunate enough for someone chatty like me who somehow got over social anxiety.
Beast, mama.
Oh,
she's a beast. Like seriously, girl.
It's all just me. It's all just me masking and going, I have social anxiety, but I can hide behind my keyboard real good. So yeah, thank you, Savannah. And that's amazing. I didn't know that. And I'm just thinking about
and I was like, just like super because you also reached out to me about wig styling.
Yes, and I was like, I've never worn
wig.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, she's like really cool and like super knowledgeable and I'm like, yeah, like totally reach out to her. She could, she seems awesome.
You made me cry.
And so it makes me. So when I saw you cast, I went, yeah, woo! Like it was so fun.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so sweet. I'm gonna like be in my head a little bit about that because that's just really sweet of you to do and really, I love you. It's just amazing. Yeah.
I'm so glad you got it. Sorry. The entire the world has melted away. It's just us.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is exactly what we wanted with you both on.
Yeah.
So
zero effort, perfect content. Please continue.
Yeah, please continue.
I'm just gonna go from soft eye contact to really hard eye contact.
Oh!
Just.
Miss Elariel.
Amazing. Yeah.
Say whatever you say, Miss Elariel.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, in September, I got a call or an email to set up a call with Monica and Brandon Finn. Have to clarify that because everyone always thinks when I say Brandon, it's the capital T, capital B, capital S, the Brandon Simpson.
Yes.
But had a call with them. And on this call, Sarah was also on the call, who's the casting director and ended up being the showrunner. And she was there and she's like, oh, so I'll be your contact for when you're at the Worldhopper Ball. And they hadn't even told me I got the part yet. So I'm sitting there on this call going like, oh, is this a callback? Am I being, and immediately to going like, I'll be your contact for when you're here. And I was like,
It's like
guys?
in their brain, they had already told you, and then they just didn't. I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, and of course, like the moment you get like a video call with everyone on it, you kind of like there's an inkling of they're either really sweet and they're going to let me down very gently with everyone on the call, or this is, you know, the call. So Brandon Finn had to walk it back and kind of be like, well, let's just let you know you got it. And at that point, I was shocked that it took me like, I think I was on the phone with them for 45 minutes to an hour. As soon as I hung up, tears, just tears. Like I'm very good at masking, and so I'll like shove everything down. And then once I'm off the call, same thing with this. Like I will definitely sob after this because this is just such a beautiful moment with beautiful people. I'm just so excited to be here. But I will just shove it all down, and then when I get off, then I will,
acting.
Will cry.
Acting. We're doing the show. Yeah.
Right. And then, like Savannah said, we had script readings. So we had a few script readings, which your dad was on, which was so cool because he has the best voice. Like he's a very good actor, but also his voice is just so. This is what I picture when I picture Steel Inquisitors. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we mentioned this before we started hitting record, but Savannah, your dad played one of the Steel Inquisitors.
My biological father was one of the big bad Steel Inquisitors who came out and was like,
nice.
Force people to come out of hiding.
Yeah. Well, and at the time they were like, "Oh, do you have any other skills that we can do?" And I was like, "Well, like I sing and I play piano." And they're like, "Well, maybe we can add in like a piano thing for Shan." And I was like, don't worry about it." And then they asked me if I had any aerialist skills, which I had been taking trapeze for like a hot second. But I was like, listen, like if you have stunt people that you've worked with before, because they did the whole Windspread thing in 2024.
Yeah.
I was like, if you have people that are very good at it, I'm not going to be that person that goes, I want to do my own stunts. And then the stunts are like a quarter as good as they could be. I was like, do a double. So for both Shanna and Vin, there were aerialist doubles who were, I think, both previously Windspread in the 2024 Worldhopper Ball, and they nailed it. So good, so professional.
It was so cool.
It was so
It
cool.
was so cool.
Yeah. But I think
One brain cell.
Right. I mean, just like the entire set building process, as well as their aerialist skills, being able to like shatter the window and have that coordinated with her entrance was just, I mean, I'm in awe. And of course, being backstage, I didn't get to see it. So I had my husband record it when the actual show came, because I was like, I have to see how this pans out. This is amazing. But yeah, I think for me, I didn't have as much material to go off of. So a lot of it was me making up reasons why Shan was the way she was. And now I'm a Shan sympathizer because I think she really was done a disservice. And I think she's really just insecure, and judgment is her defense mechanism. So I think that's where I got to an end process with her where I could sympathize very genuinely about just being insecure and having these defense mechanisms, and Ellen just not giving her the time of day like he gave Vin, because Vin is the girl, and if he had given her time to get to know her, maybe we'd be telling a very different story.
If we can excuse Vin's murder, we can excuse Shan's murder. It's fine.
Right?
I have a question for Emily.
Go, please.
Did Shan love Ellen? Because I've always thought about that. I'm like, did he actually like him? Or was she in love with the Lord Venture? Was she in love with Lord Venture or Ellen? Like,
this is a very... Yeah. So I think this is not a hot take. I think this is very like, this is absolutely what happened. No. I think this was a betrothal where they were like, hey, two big houses, whatever.
Political.
I think you're right. And it did go a lot farther than any of his other, I don't know, musings with other girls. Because there's not a lot of difference between Ellen and Adolin. They're both playboys until they meet the girl. They treat women pretty poorly until they meet the girl. As much as I love Adolin, I am a true Ellen-tater. That maintains.
Perfect for the yeah.
Okay, we're gonna unpack that at some point.
So I think like he just emotionally manipulates women, and Shan was no different. She just was going all along with it because this was the match of the era, and their engagement had gone on for a year. And I don't think there was any love, but there was possessiveness. And I think she was not going to be another girl he tossed aside. I think that's where
because I thought about that. I was like, and it's something to be said. I'm also a Shan sympathizer. All right. I feel like I hope she gets a lot more depth in the movie because I think they'll fix it. I think they'll fix as much as they can with like some of the
Mistborn came out 20 years ago, which is crazy, right?
I hope that they fix like the misogynistic stereotypes. Unfortunately, the use of sexual assault, the absence of the victims. It's most of the time sexual assault is used as a device to make the men feel bad about the world or to save or to be good or bad, but you never hear from any of the victims that go through that because they get murdered, and then you're like, well, that's the thing that happens anyway. So I think that with Shan, it's really interesting how not only has she been raised her entire life to have, to be in this betrothal, but he rejects her, which in probably this society would probably make her a spinster, which could completely ruin her reputation, which would completely ruin everything. And so I think that's really interesting.
Well, and then you have the whole dynamic with Mistborn era 2, where there's Wax and Steris. They're kind of thrown into a similar, not a totally similar union, but it's not dissimilar. But Wax takes the time to
like grow to love her.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Right. And then now Steris is like one of the most beloved characters, I think, of all time. And so I think there was just a lack of respect for women on Ellen's part, and Shan had a lot of intricacies that weren't brought to light. So I agree with you. I hope the series, in whatever capacity they're able to adapt it, just gives her a little bit more leeway than just being another Regina George.
Yeah, because there's definitely that vibe.
Have you heard what I mean, no plans are like concrete that we know of, but have you heard of how Brandon's talked about how he might change Shan in the movies?
Yes.
Well, so that's not necessarily the script he's writing right now. It is one of the treatments that he wrote.
It is, yes. It's one of the ideas that he's had before.
This is interesting.
He was thinking of changing the relationship between Shan and Elend so that she was instead his sister.
I did actually. Yes, I have heard of this.
You have heard of this.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that, I guess?
I'm like, sorry, where is this coming from? That's like, wait, it's his sister. Why is she trying to kill him then?
I believe it had something to do with like the venture inheritance, and like she wanted to lead the house and stuff like that. We can probably find you like where Brandon talked about that.
Sure. I like that he's already got it on his radar. That's really cool. That was my biggest thing.
Yeah. He like some of the things in Era 1 and especially Book 1 that Brandon is very much aware is and this is something he talks a lot about, is the idea that he used to love to pat himself on the back for making the protagonist a young girl and then putting her in an environment where all of the other characters are men.
Yeah.
He's very aware of this.
He's very aware of that. He's talked about potentially gender swapping, like Dachshund and Ham are some of the characters he's mentioned there. He's aware that Era 1 has a bit of a villain problem in that Shan is set up as kind of an early book villain, and then she doesn't disappear, like there is a confrontation and stuff like that, but she is a bit disposable in this way.
Just a roadblock, basically, plot-wise, in a sense, right?
Well, so I'm going to turn it back on the question asker. What do you think about him changing that relationship?
Well, I didn't have a whole lot of thoughts about Shan. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. So I was
No one
just kind of like, okay, sure. Um, the next time that I reread the series, I'll have to think about her more. I'm not an Elend hater, sorry.
I
but
am an Elend enjoyer for sure.
I'm one of
We're
the
in enemy territory, Emily.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think
He's
you're going to
shy-witted
find
and reads
that.
books. What am I
Yeah.
supposed to do as a guy?
Yeah.
I think he's also very ableist, though. Like I there's one quote that my husband always teases me for, and it's like the epitome of it solidified my Elend loathingness.
yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
Emily,
What-
we're
what
going
is
to get crucified after we get off of
The
this.
comments are loving this, I'm sure.
I'm so excited.
They're not going to want to listen to us. They're going to click off now.
Yeah, so he talks about, I'm pretty sure it's in the third Mistborn Era 1 book, Hero of Ages, and, right? Yeah, sorry, my brain was like, that's the title of the book, right?
Yeah, that's the title. of the book.
Yeah, Hero of Ages. And he's talking about, there's a wheelchair user in the book, and
Oh yeah.
Seth.
yeah, Seth, thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
They keep thinking Seth, and then Zeth,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
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 It's exactly set. So he's talking about they want Ellen is talking to someone else, and he goes, "What's he gonna do? Bite me?"
Yeah.
And I was like, like just immediate rage of like,
Yeah.
like, is this because he's a wheelchair user? Is this you teasing him? Is this? So I think that for me, I was just, and I literally wrote to Brandon Sanderson's like Dragonsteel info page. This was like, I don't know, like I guess 2 or 3 years ago at this point.
Girl, I love you.
I was like, this is offensive and so ableist. And he could have said anything else about Set's attitude, about, you know, and any of his other myriad of faults. But you chose to let Ellen go. What's he going to do? Bite me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he
And
chose to do.
the answer is
Right.
2005 Brandon
True.
was a different person.
Totally. And we grow
Um,
and you know, and things happen and we learn, but it was very, and now we have I think at least one other very prominent wheelchair user in the Cosmere
Yep.
who was written very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there has been a lot of growth, but for me, I was just like, Ellen did this, and he mistreats Vin, and Vin deserves better, and then all of a sudden he was like,
Oh,
"What's he gonna do?" Like,
Are you a Zane enjoyer in book 2, Emily?
I don't know if I enjoy him. I just think Vin deserves better than both of them.
Okay, fair take. I'm a well-known Zane hater on the show.
Hey, she can
Oh.
join the like
Yeah.
Kliss and Shan train that we got going on.
Yeah.
I'll always clear a spot for her.
We'll just have a little. I mean, we talked about polyamory in the Cosmere, and you know, we'll just have a little thing. Come join us, Ryan. Ryan plays Vin, by the way.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, Ryan two ends. Ryan
Yeah, I'm
Jones.
like translating. Yeah, the names, even though
Sorry.
it's up on our. No, that's perfectly fine.
It's the mathing professor.
Make the math happen.
You love that you now know that about me.
I love it. It's awesome.
You will,
Just
yeah,
makes me rock
Your mind about it. I literally want to sit there and I'd be like, so why math?
yeah. I mean, I can tell you after the show. Yeah,
Who
sure.
made you like this, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, who made you?
Who are you?
Like,
No.
So Savannah, you've talked about Shallan, and you've also mentioned Kliss, but apparently you weren't officially Kliss. Like what was going on in 2025? I need to know. I need to know the story. What's going on here?
okay, so I was signed on to be a ballroom dancer.
Okay.
For the 2025 ball. That was my official title. That's what I was being hired for and everything like that. And so but in my contract it said that I was a roaming character. It said your job is to read the source material, understand the text, and to be able to interact with guests, right? And it was really awesome. So me and my partner were a little bit different when it came to the ballroom dancers, and we were like the in-world ballroom dancers, if that made sense. Whereas the ballroom dances you see like later in the performance itself, those are national smooth champions. Like those are some of the best smooth dancers in the nation.
They just got second again very recently. Yeah.
So they had a group. They had the ballroom dancers, and then they had the competitive smooth dancers, and then they had the in-world ballroom dancers, which was like, okay, your job is to be legit an NPC. Like, I was supposed to be an NPC, okay? And so I came up with my entourage, and I just was like, okay, I'm going to a Miss Barn Ball, and I'm so excited. So what am I going to wear? I start coming up with this outfit. I reach out to my friend, and she's able to let me borrow her huge dress that's gold. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do like a Rococo huge wig, and I'm going to put feathers and diamonds in it, and I'm going to look so obnoxious, and it's going to be such a good time. And I literally sat there and I'm like, okay, who am I? Because I'm going to be walking around, and this was the problem we ran into, is that everyone thought I was Shan. I was walking around, everyone thought I was Shan Elariel. Everyone kept calling me Shan, and I
did that.
Was like,
you did do that.
No, I'm not. And then I walk, and I was like, okay. And then some people kept calling me Shallan, because I decided on the first night I'm only going to cover my safe hand with my glove as a nod. And so some people called me Shallan.
Okay.
So but where it comes down to Kliss is none other than yours truly, Emily. Because what happened was, in the staging, they have Emily over in this table. She's sitting by herself. And she's the queen of the ball.
Yeah.
And so
unacceptable.
No, she wouldn't. Like, she's full of sycophants.
Yeah. So Sunny comes up to me and goes, will you sit next to Shan? She looks so sad and so lonely, just sitting in the corner by herself. Will you go sit there and like just gawk at her? And I'm like talking to Emily, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be one of your sycophants, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to gawk with you. And then Emily's like, well, have you thought about just making yourself Kliss? And I was like, who? He pulls out her massive binder and goes, yeah, right here, Lady Kliss. She pulls out her notes. She starts reading off to me this woman's description, and it's the way I'm dressed. This extravagant dress, the huge hair, the massive boobs, and like I'm sitting here and I go, I pulled up, guys, I gotta find this. I pull up a picture of Kliss, and she looks like me. And I'm like, I had no intention of designing it like that, but it totally came out with me looking like Lady Kliss. And like Shan was like, just say you're Lady Kliss.
Where do you have fish? Where do you have Kliss fan art? We do not have Kliss fan art on the Coppermind here.
Emily. I found it and I sent it to Emily, and I was like, there's no way.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing one. This must be some like 2010 type of stuff.
Let's see. I have to go into me and Emily's DMs.
That is amazing that Emily, you suggested it and it just matched so perfectly. Amazing. Oh wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
The colors are off, obviously, but like the silhouette is very much there.
Yeah, no, down to like the feather stuff.
Yeah, the feathers.
The curl
and I was
in the hair.
like, yeah, and Shannon, excuse me, Miss Elariel. And
I get that.
Was like, yeah, we'll just make you Kliss, right? And so then we're just sitting there, and this became a thing every night, where we just sat at this front table and we started gawking at people. But what was fun is that people didn't really know if I was a character or not. So I had to have this plastered, like, do not speak to me face the entire night. And I had to be hardcore judging everybody so that they knew, oh, she's in character, and not, gosh, what an asshole. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point.
That's a good point. Oh, it's so mean,
Sure.
And so I'm hoping, and we're sitting here and we're like making fun of people at this little table, but Kliss started from Miss Emily, because Emily pulled up her little tabbed one and went, yeah, Kliss right here, Lady Kliss, you remember? The informant. And I was like, No, I don't remember, Emily. I was like, so anyway, it just became fun. And then it evolved from them going, just go interact with people. And I went, got it. So I went from being this Mistborn NPC to being Lady Kliss, except for I couldn't officially call myself that because I wasn't contracted with that. But I told everyone I was Kliss. And when people called me like Shan, I had to play it off and be like, no, but I hope to be so one day.
I mean, that was exactly what Evgeni was saying in our.
Yeah.
He. Because like we remember Lady Kliss, and so so it's like there's Kliss there, but this is even better, honestly. I love this.
Yeah, and then it was funny because then word kind of started spreading that Kliss was a thing, so then people started calling me Kliss, and then when I went up and did my barn dancing on the balcony, people started screaming like, Kliss, go Kliss, Lady Kliss. And then I was talking backstage and they're like, who is Kliss? What are they talking about? Like, what is happening? And I'm like you're
okay,
talking about me. I'm like I was like, hey, Brandon. So if you hear a bunch of like, or if it shows up in a review, they go, that Lady Kliss. And you're like, who? We didn't hire a Lady Kliss. What is going on? You think that some fan was like, no, it was me. It wasn't some random person who was like, I am Kliss. And can you imagine if someone did that? If someone just decided and then people went with it?
It's like, no. I'm going to be one of Shan's sycophants. Don't do this to actors. So for anyone listening, do not actually do that.
So, but I had to go to them and go, hey, so ask for forgiveness, not permission. I just kind of officially made myself the Kliss of this ball, and I just kind of was the entire night listening in on people's conversations and giggling. And I took Emily's little like thing and I read her, and she's like, you know, and I did a little bit of, if I were to play an actual Lady Kliss, I would have been a lot more bubbly and a lot more alive. I don't know. I just wanted to be really evil. So I just kind of, and then like, it was fun. Like I was like pulling people into the dance floor and dancing with them. And it was fun to dance with a Mistborn NPC, and the partner was doing the same.
So your partner, you mean your like
dance partner
or like your actual, okay. Not like your husband.
Dance partner.
Yeah.
Which was the Lord of Hastings, we decided. So
dude, that's just water. It was
I think me and Emily to write like a spin-off of Shan, because the amount of conversations we had about Kliss's love life and about Shan's sexuality and like
where Ellen was,
and like our opinions on like what was happening is so funny, and no one knows anything about it. You know? No one knows that every single night we waited for my dance partner and we're talking about him, and like we were talking about Hastings and the Hastings house. We gave like different, when the Sandersons
ordered the attendants around.
Oh yeah, and we called them our ska and like our peasants, and we made them we made them tell us jokes when we got bored. Like these poor writers whose job is just to make sure that people don't come like stand in front of Shan or like they don't know what to say. And then they're like, yes, Miss Elariel, I shall tell you a joke. And they go.
Some of them got really into it. They were very good. And some of them had acting experience as well.
Watching them like pull up their phones and like Google jokes. Right? And like they're like, you gotta come with a joke. She's gonna ask you for one.
In Cosmere jokes. Like truly, like some of them were like just regular jokes, and some of them were in Cosmere very well thought out jokes. And so I was like, oh, we're all just improvising here. This is fantastic.
My favorite was when Shan, I could tell it was one of those like really long jokes where they're like telling you the plot and like they're getting to the punchline, and they were talking to Emily. Emily went, that's enough, I'm bored, and stopped them like halfway through, and it was so funny. There were so many times where I just, oh my gosh, Emily's so funny. She's so funny.
I feel like I
went to like Savannah's acting though, because the moment you started talking about Kliss right now, your eyebrows go up into Kliss land. Like you have a totally different. Yeah, look, like when she's Savannah, they're down here, and she's like, I'm Savannah, and I'm amazing and beautiful. And when she's Kliss, she's like, what? Yeah, like
Also amazing and beautiful.
I
Yeah.
also want to shout out that Lord Hastings being just an NPC. That's the second highest rated great house during Final Empire, which is hilarious.
Fetching us water.
But, you know,
because me and Emily, we pulled up, or at least I did, and I pulled up, and my dance partner never read Miss Moore before. They go, they ask your Hastings, okay? Right? They ask you about trade. You say, okay? Say something about trade this time of year. It's just really rough, okay? And I was like giving him like the debrief, right? And it's so funny.
Was Venture, Hastings, Elariel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did I need to
That's
look
incredible.
it up? I did remember this 15 years ago off the top of my head, the all 10, but it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
Um,
But his like go-to line was like, "Oh, the shipments this time of year, blocking out the trade. Trade has been a real ruckus here." And I'm like, he's doing his best, and I'm like,
He's
yes,
killing it.
man,
Amazing.
man, you got it. You know,
Which Kliss actually knew about, because in the book, Kliss talks about like starting all of these micro rumors, and one of them is about like the Hastings
Oh,
shipments being delayed.
that's even better.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. So it's just really
Just
fun.
props
Like,
to Savannah. Like just
That's-
knowing her stuff.
She
we decided that we were Kliss. I was like, oh, it is.
I will say the hardest thing about the ball, like just it's kind of like a weird niche thing, is this one on Scadrial, there's only in Mistport Era 1, only one curse word, and it's Lord Ruler.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so
well,
that
you could do
That's
deepness.
true.
You could do deepness as well. But
I think because we
yeah.
had a conversation about it at the script reading, and I asked, I was like, what endearments are we allowed? Like, what curses are we allowed? And they were like, it's only Lord Ruler. And I was like, oh, okay. And it worked, because like when you go back and read the book, that's really all they curse by is Lord Ruler.
Yeah. Because Rust and Ruin and Rusting and stuff like that doesn't show up until the Ruin doesn't show up until later, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll never forget. It was the night that the Sandersons came, and we read Emily to filth. I gave. Oh, actually, yeah. Like, do you remember when Emily? You don't remember? Okay, Emily Sanderson was like her thing there because like they're at that front table, right? And she's like,
Oh,
look at that, and we are being obnoxious, and we're like gesturing her, and we're like, what's going on here? This like tattered mess.
we're like, you're wearing rags to a ball.
And we're like, I want to be Mistborn. Well, he's trying so hard to fit in, isn't he? You know, and it's like so funny.
I thought you were talking about a rehearsal for a second, and I was like, I
No.
officially met Brandon Sanderson for like all of 15 seconds. Like I didn't get to say anything except thank you. And so for a second, I was like, no, like, did you guys get to like hang out with Brandon Sanderson?
I just remember when he was at the ball.
Yeah, I
and
do
I
remember
remember he accidentally like bumped into my dress at all, and I was like, "Excuse you." Excuse me. And I got
He stepped on his wife's he stepped on his wife dress, and people were also stepping because he had a by Sunny as well.
With a massive coat.
The Miss Cloak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Cloak.
That's
Yeah.
M had some dress.
that's
Always.
so funny that you
Tonight.
got to do that. It's terrifying as well. But it's like, I'm in character. This is what they're here to see. Right?
I have a free pass, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I will say one thing about that though is there was one instance only where I absolutely, it broke my heart to play the part. And Savannah, you probably remember this too. There was this
I know where we're
amazing
going with
gentleman,
this.
and he presented his partner, and this person had this wonderful gown, beautiful, and he was introducing his partner, and oh my god, like I don't think he knew that we were mean,
Oh no.
and so he responded cruelly. This is what's gonna make me cry on the podcast. Like, so, and I want to find him so bad and be like, that was such a lovely gesture for you to bring her to the nobility and introduce her and greet us, and we ripped her. I think you started it because you were like, what, you're speaking to us? Like, how dare you? And it was
Yeah.
just so heartbreakingly cruel. And I think in hindsight, we could have been like, oh, this must be another noble house. Like, we didn't off the bat have to be so cruel, but it was so in character that we were. And if you're out there, I'm so sorry.
They might listen to this, maybe. I don't know.
Someone find this poor man and his partner, because he just introduced her, was so excited for her to meet nobility, and we sent him off just unrealized, unappreciated, and it haunts me. It haunts me.
There were a couple of those.
You picked Shan from the beginning, Emily. You knew what you were getting into.
I knew what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have like all these insults that we just.
Emily like ran up, or not Emily. Emily didn't run at anyone, but like people would come up and they were really excited to like see Shan, and they would start talking, and we would obviously be like, "I'm sorry, you speak when spoken to. You've not been called upon."
Savannah had the best one-liner.
I gotta admit, I unfortunately, and I should have gone to the 2025 ball, but I think the thing I missed most was you. Like, I want to be insulted like that. That would be that's what I would want most. So
it turned into that. So someone sent me something from Reddit, and it turned into that, where people were like, so Wit last year, and of course this year as well, but Jackson did an amazing job, which is where I got this inspiration from, because he's like, I wrote out every one-liner Wit could ever possibly say. And then of course he's very good at improv as well, so he definitely improvised a few of the ones he wasn't prepared for. And so I did the same thing. And it turned into this thing where by the second ball, when people were taking pictures, they were like egging me on in like very fun, like professional ways. Like I never felt, I don't know, any kind of way other than appreciated as a character at the Worldhopper Ball. But yeah, people were like, oh, I want to see what she says to me, to the point where Jackson Brimrose, who played Elend and Adolin, said, if we go to London, we need a little speaker so that people can hear Savannah and Emily's quips. And I thought that was really, really funny.
I would love to just hear you as Shan going through a few of them. Like, obviously you have many, but I would.
Me right now. Okay, let me find.
I would love that personally.
So I have different sections. So I have compliments, kind of, insults, gossip, acceptance, flattery, and miscellaneous or a redirect. Because obviously there are certain things that I am like, I'm a Mistborn, but no one knows that. So I had a couple misdirects. But I think the one I used most often is I made a rule that I was never going to insult someone based on their appearance.
Yeah.
It was always going to be something they could change within 15 minutes. That's like my rule in life as well.
Okay.
Is like, when people have so many bad character flaws, why are we going after like their nose? I'm not
that's just not creative. Come on.
Right. So, and plus I want them to grow. Like, if you're a bad person, I want you to grow and realize you're a bad person.
Unlike their nose, which doesn't need any more growing.
Right. So, like, for you, it'd be like, oh my God, like, I love your shirt. It almost distracts from the cut of your headset or something, like the cut of your dress. Or like, I would be like, oh my God, like, I love this. Or I would say, my other one that I went to a lot was, like, oh, that gown is exquisite. Too bad it's last year's design. Is this your first ball? I can tell. Like, those little, like, very Regina George one-liners, because people wanted to get pictures with multiple people. I was not anyone's favorite. And I know that I'm not my own favorite. So I wanted to get them out of there quickly and not do a whole conversation. Whereas, like, I think Vin, Ellen, Hoyd, Sazed, they could afford something. So I would just give them little quips like that.
And they're like, oh, Shan insulted me. I love it.
I will say, and you will have heard me say this before, your acting and the interactions with you were by far the most memorable ones from the entire ball. Like, I don't even think I got to like Vin and Sazed. I think I got most of the others, and they were all just about what I expected. And in a way, I guess Shan was also what I expected. But I, like the majority of the fandom, hadn't spent a ton of time thinking about Shan just because she's this obstacle in Vin's arc. And because you gave her so much life and personality and character, one, they fit, which is great. And two, it was just so delightful to see and so delightful to experience. And like, it's not even about the insults. I don't care about that. But just the embodiment of the life that is Shan was just
I've officially lost it. I cried here on the podcast. Everything's fine. Thank you for being so kind. Like it's really humbling, I think, to have people who love and protect and are passionate about the Cosmere compliment something that you, like Savannah said, like we all have survival jobs, and acting is not my survival job. And so when someone does put any ounce of compliment into something that you just are passionate about and you've put a lot of work into, it goes a really long way. So thank you.
We'll forward relevant comments.
Yeah,
for that.
It's really that hits home to me for sure. It's just so cool from like a fandom perspective to see actors really embody the characters and put so much into it. And I'm sure there's people who are like have quibbles about something. Like that's going to happen on literally anything. But just hearing about everything you both put in to your roles is just, I don't know, I love that, to just really get into character. Needing to improv with guests is genuinely terrifying for me to even imagine as an actor. So I just want to say thanks for all the incredible effort, and I think you both really embodied both your characters just so well, and I think it really comes across really well.
I think that Emily is very good at this thing that I always. This is why Emily's my girl. You're my girl. And it's because when in acting, I feel like you have to meet your character, especially if it's such a iconic character as Shan or as Shallan, where you can get really caught up in what other people want you to be, or being what they want. Whereas I feel like something I love so much about Emily's performance as Shan is that she met the character halfway, negotiated with the character, and they worked together, right? And she infused herself into it. And that's something really important for me as an actor, That's something I tried to do with Shallan, which is, meeting them halfway at this road, taking their hand and say, okay, we're going to do this together. We're going to compromise. You're going to have some of my mannerisms and I'm going to have some of your mannerisms, but it has to be both. If you lean too far into what the character is supposed to be, or it doesn't feel authentic, because sure, maybe the character would have done that, but it's really hard to explain. But I feel like,
I think it makes
Emily,
sense.
you made Shan so human, and I appreciate that so freaking much, especially when it comes to
cry.
Girl, especially when it comes to women who are villains or is painted as villains. In this case, she is a villain, and I know that I really get defensive about characters like that as well, or protective is a better word. And thank you for making her human and for making her a person and meeting her halfway instead of judging her and saying, no, you're too evil. No, you're too insecure. For me, I love that you met her halfway, because most, I would say most beginner actors' inclination is to judge them and is to play evil, to play mean, instead of I love, there is an interpretation out there where I feel like you could make the argument that your Shan was just incredibly on the spectrum, and those were genuine questions. Or like there are so many different interpretations that are interesting, that are so much
More dynamic
than mean.
Yeah,
or
totally.
old, you know. So anyway, I really, really admire and appreciate you, and I love everything that you did.
Well, you talked about a lot of your. You did another conversation with Cosmere Conversations, and I thought that was just beautiful how you did talk about your process with Shallan, and this won't just be like a butt kissing of Savannah the whole time, but I think you know how to act, like you know how to act, and you know how to protect yourself in the way that you act. Because obviously Shallan means a lot to you. There are many ways, like you say, like she can be played, so many different aspects, especially at an event as big as her own wedding. And I think your protectiveness of her is what brought her to life. And yeah, I'm just going to DM you on the side, just like a whole string of compliments, because I'm not going to say it as eloquently as I can write it. But you're amazing, and I literally could not have done this without you, even from an acting perspective, because you brought Shallan to light. And even while we were flushing out Shan, we talked about her character and Kliss and all of these things and the dynamic, and she grew with each ball because you were there and because we talked with each other, and we developed her even further than I had anticipated. When I came in, even with all the prep that I did do, there was more, and you helped me uncover that. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy for fandom conversations and expectations to kind of fall into certain lines, and even when you're trying to like cover and talk about multiple things, and even for the writing itself to kind of fall into certain ways, that's just kind of a difficulty of the medium, where you can only portray so much at a time, and acting is a whole person in a way that even really, really good writing is not quite the same as. And you guys do a very good job of making the characters really have a full presence and all of that.
And you guys do a great job too. I mean, like literally, I used the Coppermind and 17th Shard. I mean, the whole of what I've been able to see of it, and I used that in prep, just from a personality, a traits. You know, what does she look like? What does she walk like? What is even appearing as a soother, right? Like if Shan is really that good of a Mistborn, and Kelsier knows that you cover soothing abilities, Why has been able to perceive her. And even just from that perspective, like I utilized a lot of your guys' conversations as well. So thanks for having a platform where people can just go and be immersed in the world that they love. And I have my husband, thank goodness, to talk with. But if I couldn't, and even sometimes still, you know, like because I have surpassed him in my passion for the Cosmere, I need a community where I can go and love something unapologetically, and you guys do that. So thanks.
Paul, that's so sweet of you to say. I still remember like Coppermind a decade ago, where it's, you know, like obviously a lot of work was put in even 10 years ago, but now it's like you can go to almost like any page and I'm like, oh, this is like good, and like that's just so much effort. Like, oh wow, this is extensive. I love it.
I love the people in this fandom.
But Ian, you are totally right though, writing wise, how you just can't evoke all of the things an actor could on the page. It's not possible. Even if you're like describing
and you shouldn't.
And you shouldn't, right? Even if you're describing a dress really long, you know, and it's many paragraphs, that's still not the same as just seeing it. And the reader has to be the director. Whereas when you're acting, you are embodying the character and bringing so much more life to them. Right.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me.
I think we've been wholesome for far too long.
That's true. I agree.
So what I want to know is, and this is mostly for Emily, but Savannah, I think this is also going to go to you. You are very nice and very sweet. How do you go about embodying the meanest of mean girls in the Final Empire?
So it is interesting that you say that, though, because I've noticed since playing Shan, and I did a whole thing on Instagram about like, you know, my process and what she means to me now. I have noticed as a recovering people pleaser, I had I made a lot of progress after playing Shan. A lot. Like I don't have to smile at everything. I don't have to, you know, placate people. So it's really interesting what she actually gave back to me.
That's so funny.
Yeah, like it's so interesting how playing someone, and I think because I approached it from a place of empathy, right? Like I needed to know what made her tick. I needed to know why no one's just mean for no reason. Like there's even if the reason is they enjoy it, no one is mean for no reason.
Or
So
their goals,
for me, like
conflicts.
yeah. Well, and we talked about her being a woman as well. So like, would she be the girl who's called bossy in kindergarten when really she's just a really good leader? I don't know. So I spun that on its head when I did my research, and I called her things like cunning, like ambitious. I didn't call her, you know, like, I don't know, mean or evil or vindictive. And I talked about how so I wrote this whole thing down. So she is competent, intelligent, and embodies like ruthlessness because she's a product of her environment, and her adaptation is this survival instinct. Whereas Elend goes into an avoidant kind of coping mechanism.
Yes.
Shan went into an anxious, controlling. And you know, like Savannah had mentioned, you know, could we take her from even like a spectrum perspective, like an ASD perspective? And I had thought about that as someone who is like ODD. And I had thought about that, and you want to be part of the in group. Is she just really good at masking to the point where she has become defensive and she wants to control her environment? And this is really just all a way for her to survive. She doesn't have Ellen's title. She's a woman. She has to marry. And so I took it from that perspective. So for me, and this might go into a bit of more of like the acting world in general and why I enjoy it, but as someone who didn't realize she was masking for as long as she had in her life, and is continuing to like break down those walls, acting gives us the platform to unmask in a consenting way with partners and with other people on set, and you're able to embody every emotion in most, you know, productions that you want to, uninhibited. It's a mask to unmask in a sense. That's how I view it. So I'm putting on and embodying and feeling all of these things where in real life you are nice and you have to, you know, people please, or even if it's not to the spectrum of people pleasing, you have to be courteous and kind to people. In the acting world, like once they, you know, action, you can be rude and ruthless and people love you for it. You don't have to just, I don't know. I don't know if that's coming across right, but it's masking in a way that is acceptable and consensual to everyone on set, and you never have to worry, or you seldom need to worry about stepping on people's toes. And there's a right way to do it, and it's the most direction you'll ever receive in your life, which as like an autistic person, you're like,
I love having a director tell me what to do.
Right. You're like,
yeah.
Like,
You don't have to throw yourself into being neurotypical because you're throwing yourself into being a character.
Exactly. That is such a better way to put that. Thank you. Because you get stage direction, you get facial expressions. Like you have a certain, you know, control over your character and how you present it, but you can always go to someone and ask permission. you can always go to the director and be like, so what do you think about this for Shan? And they'll tell you. I mean, it's the most freeing thing I've ever done in my life.
That's so
Does that answer
fascinating.
your question?
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
I think I really appreciate that because I think I very much take the same perspective. I think I share the same opinion with Christoph Waltz when he did Hans Landa in Inglourious Bastards, which is that he's not thinking about that. I don't think you're not really thinking about how scary or mean or evil you are. You're thinking about what world your character's been put in which they need to survive, you know? So I think something that was really fun about me and Emily's dynamic was we had times where we were equals and times we were not equal. And then I started downshifting and I started love bombing the crap out of her to really like hit it home. And that's why I love bombed the crap out of Shan to other people so that I'm like, I can't lose this job. I'm like, you know, so it's like, when it comes to, I was out here being Shan defense, like Shan patrol, talking to people whenever they were like, it's Shan. Like, it's Shan. And I'm like, wipe that scowl off your face. You should be on your feet. On your feet. You should be grateful. I'm like...
and you were so good at that. So good.
That is just like in world, Shan's group of sycophants would be doing that just like constantly all the time.
Yeah.
And probably like Shan herself might be very lonely because she doesn't actually have actual friends and things. So I
100%.
The neurodivergent aspect is kind of interesting because maybe like she can't connect with a person in a truly friend sense, and you need this sort of more sycophantic relationship that's not
Kliss,
bi-directional.
There's a quote I really, really, really liked, which kind of told me a lot about her, which is, a foolish gossip? Why, yes, I am. It's fascinating the kinds of things you can learn when you're known as the court gossip.
Yeah.
So instead of going, I think that's a really interesting take, because instead of sneaking around, I had my chest held up high. I knew exactly who I was. I was walking into conversations. Why, yes, I am. It's fascinating the things you can learn when people know who you are, instead of kind of a informant take, more like Vin, which is Vin is trying to condense and become someone else, whereas Kliss is embracing the fact that when you speak to her, you know the fact that everyone's going to hear about it. So I don't know. That's what I thought was fun, as opposed to like I'm going to sneak around and be bubbly, because I thought about it. I was like, what if I'm like bubbly and I'm fun and I talk to people, and then like I suddenly just like turn into something. I'm like, it'd be a shame if Shan heard about that, wouldn't it? Then I leave. Like, you know, wouldn't that be fun? But like, I think I went more with the approach that she's a lot more brave and proud about it.
People underestimate Kliss. Like, I think you brought that to it as well.
She just like shows up and leaves, but you just take it and run with it, you know?
It shows a lot of depth with her character as well, because she, like, you could also interpret that as that's almost a mask for her as well. Like,
sure.
Right? And that's her defense mechanism and how she's getting information as well. So,
well, I mean, a court gossip is definitely an insult, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You're a court gossip. And she's like, oh, I'm this, like, oh, yes, I am. I am.
Yeah, but she's also a valuable court gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't even get a surname, guys. Justice for Kliss.
No, unfortunately.
Although before Kliss, I did throw out there, I was talking to Brandon, Finn, and I was like, you guys should let me be Spook and Drag, and my dance partner would be Ham. And we would be like undercover. I threw that out, and I was like, you know how funny it would be if we were like of course it didn't happen, but Brandon did say, you'd make a great Spook. And I went, thank you.
Incredible.
I love that.
But yeah, I thought it would be funny.
You go back and do it again. You would Kliss and then go change, and then Kliss and then go change, and then
legit. I was like, during the dance instruction, it would be funny if like Spook is in drag, and then you had Ham who's like, boy, get over here, like get into it. He's like picking on Spook, and he's just trying to do his thing. I think that'd be so funny.
Oh my
Bizzings
goodness.
and the wuzzings. You have to learn the whole dialogue.
Good luck. Good luck. I do not understand Eastern street slang, but people do.
Well,
I think that's the
because
Yeah.
that's because it's fake.
Well, but there is actual structure to it, though, is the thing.
There is actual structure to it,
A
but
little.
it's not. It's a
little.
loose structure in that there are. Back in the day when we were decoding the Alethi glyphs,
Yes.
we used to joke around that there were "screw you" lines in the glyphs, in which cartographers would like literally throw in lines or like distort lines just to mess with people's ability to read glyphs, because you're not supposed to read them; you're supposed to memorize them.
Yeah.
Eventually, that ended up being more or less canonized. There are "screw you" words in the Eastern Street Slang that the point is that you're not supposed to be able to understand it.
Oh, cool.
Amazing.
That's a really interesting tidbit. Thank you for sharing. That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
We
Well,
got all
we
sorts
are
of
a
random
font-
lore ready to go.
Yeah, we're a font of ancient lore here.
That's why I listen. I listen for the
It's a street kid dialect. It's supposed to be confusing.
Remember when we were decoding the Steel Alphabet from the Mistborn RPG? Because we got the one Inquisitor sheet that Ben McSween.
That's true.
No, I'm not
That's
this
true, though.
old.
I know exactly what you're
That is
talking
true.
about. That is true.
Yeah, no, we got essentially the entire alphabet from that Inquisitor diagram.
That is true.
Nice.
So I do unfortunately have to start cutting this episode a little bit short. I know it doesn't feel short, and it certainly doesn't feel to us. We could spend hours on this.
Yeah, I think that'd be very
but
easy
some
to do.
people on this episode don't have their entire day
Have
to
like
waste
jobs to do.
on-
Ugh, come on.
and stuff. Yeah. So I want to shoot a final closing question to both of you, which is, it seems like Dragonsteel is going to keep doing these Worldhopper balls. I don't know if they're going to be like Worldhopper, if they're going to brand them differently, but they seem to like that, and people seem to enjoy them. What would you, personally speaking, want to see in a future ball, and who would you want to play? And I'll throw this one to Emily first.
Yeah, I'm like, you do Emily
For fun.
Amazing. I'm sorry. We'll end with eloquence. That's what we're doing. Starting with this, ending with eloquence with Savannah.
Shut up.
So I'm much less poised and eloquent than you are when you speak. Like I can write it, I can draft it.
That's
doesn't always
not
come out
true.
that way.
That's
You
just
are
not
selling
true.
yourself short.
Yeah, you. Lies.
That's the imposter syndrome speaking, Emily.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll see. We'll let the critics decide. But for me, I would love to see. So I know, like we've already done something on Roshar. I would love to see more on Roshar, to be honest. And I would love for people to come back as characters they've already played. So,
I had a great time.
we should do more on Skyfield.
Perhaps even
like-
people on this call?
Potentially. But I think for me, like I would love to see, obviously Tress would be in my mind like a very easy one. I know Jackson Burmose was kind of backstage brainstorming how a Tress set would look. That would be very fun.
Yep.
Warbreaker. Mistborn era 2, going back to Scadrial. So I'm a big like Dusk fan. Also the Emberdark. I am not quite sure. I don't think they'll ever, and maybe this is something in the future, well, something very, very far in the future, but because it's one of the more far out timeline Cosmere novels, I don't think it'll be something we'll see anytime soon. Just because you will have had to have read, it's almost becoming like Marvel movies where you have to, watch the entirety of, all the way to like Endgame
Yeah.
and all of the TV shows. And so it's not quite there yet. It's still manageable. But for me, I would love to see, personally, selfishly, I would give my life to play Steris. Because I do think I fit like the age range more, and obviously like the ASD portrayal wouldn't be too far off from like I could actually unmask to unmask. So I would love to play to play Steris, and Vivenna also has from Warbreaker also has a soft spot in my heart. So those are the two that I would give my life to play, and I'm already just so thankful that I've been here and done this. I know the fandom does have some opinions about repeat actors playing multiple different characters, but if there was ever a world where that didn't matter, and if there was no one else that wanted the opportunity to be a part of such a thing, because I do want, you open the door to leave it open behind you, right? You don't just take it all for yourself. And go, well, I'm here at the Worldhopper Ball now, and I'm going to play every part. As amazing as that would be, I do want to see more faces involved. Definitely new faces. Even with the Apple TV and the possibility of an adaptation, I really hope they go for people based within the Cosmere. You have an entire fandom to choose from, and I hope that they don't lean into so many new faces or so many old faces.
Yeah, like big stars and things.
Stars and Ravenna. Those are my two, and I would love to see a Warbreaker, a Tress. Yeah, those are my two.
Love it.
Okay, we'll pass that along.
I would die. I would die and go to heaven.
I really want to play Shallan again.
Hey, valid.
I think it would be very fun now that those who have read Wind and Truth and we know where Shallan is right now, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to see her show up in maybe a world that we aren't used to that I think would be fun. But I would love another Stormlight Ball in any capacity. I would love to see a Tress Ball. I love pirates. I know you guys can't. I have like a whole pirate section on my wall. I love pirates so much.
Wink, wink. She does a fantastic Tress cosplay as well. So like,
oh really?
I actually don't like my Tress cosplay. I'm gonna revamp it. This is what I am. I don't like the color of my wig. It's not brown enough. It's too blonde. And it's not tressy enough. Like, that's how picky I am with my things. But I love Tress. Would be fun. I think that even I would love to just be it. I would just want to walk around in a pirate like that. I just want to see pirates. I don't even care. Like, I just want to walk
pirates. I'll be in.
Yeah, I will literally I'll just be I'll be cabin boy number 7 or something like that. You know?
Doug.
Doug. I was gonna say they call him Left Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of, I would love to come back for Shallan, and I would love to do some kind of Stormlight Ball.
They will. There will be another Stormlight Ball.
It would be so fun for me if it happens in 20 years when I'm in my 30s and you get the entire cast back together. You won't have to wrangle Cole out. He won't be needed. Thank you for laughing at that. I was like,
dark, but okay.
But like, I think it'd be fun if, 20 years down the road, we did like another Stormlight reunion with like all of the 2024, which would be really fun. And I would love to do an Era 2, only if I was the Marcy to Miss Emily Steris.
Can
you just?
Oh, I think
can, and that's really good to me. But
I think that I would love to be Emily's Marcy if that were to happen. I also think it would be fun to, I don't know, it's fun. I'm very young, and it would be fun to like grow into characters,
sure,
and like graduate up. So I think it'd be fun for something like Starling would be cool. It'd be fun to see Starling run a ball, or like some of Floyd's apprentices like run the balls when you can't get Jackson Dickard out.
That'd be so cool though.
Wow.
And so it'd be fun. I would love to do a ball as Starling where Hoyd is like teaching Starling how to run a Worldhopper Ball, and it's like, this is how you run a Worldhopper Ball. Or it's like apprentices and like, this is how you do it. And then you get some really cool dynamics with his relationships, to his apprentices, and it'd be cool to see him like passing the torch if, you know, like Jackson were unable to be the conduct of the, you know, the thing itself. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm just really grateful to be. I played my dream role. Like, I played the one I wanted, and anything from that, it was fun coming back and doing ballroom dancing, and it'd be fun. I really want to sing at one of these balls.
Ooh.
And you're a great
I can
singer.
sing.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to sing. And I don't know what capacity you could put me in, but it'd be fun to sing or something. You know,
I mean,
know
both of the balls have had like a performance, right?
yeah, for
So
sure.
it doesn't stretch the imagination that a future one might have like a little, you know, singing section.
I want to roll up though in the next Stormlight Ball in like full shard plate. I want me and Adel to fully roll up with our red and blue shard plate. You know,
That'd be cool.
Amazing. Stormlight 6 is not going to be before 2030, so you have some time to age some. I don't think it'll be
Right?
like 10 years for Shallan, but like,
sure.
you know, 5's a long time still as well. So.
She's behind the helm. It's fine.
Yeah. But like they're gonna do another Stormlight Ball for sure. Stormlight is just the biggest property, right? Like for sure they will. So
yeah.
Well, and I think they've already set themselves up in a really beautiful way to have a lot of creativity, because it's not so besides the 2024 Worldhopper Ball, the 2025 was not considered canon because it was like a retelling of Hoyd showing Kelsier.
Right.
And so I think they set themselves up in a really great way to be creative with future Worldhopper Balls in the way that they do retell. And Savannah had a really good point about passing the torch, or even you know, having Hoyd there, but not always being the conductor of the ball, that's so and your presenter into the world of the cognitive realm or wherever we happen to be. So I think we're gonna see some really interesting things in the future. And
to have an Avengers Endgame ball, and it's set in Shadesmar, and you travel like it's huge, like, and then you travel into the individual worlds, and you got like that's like mass scale.
Oh,
and
see, I was just thinking Silverlight, where they come in. Yeah, but that works too.
Yeah, I was also thinking Silverlight, but it would be really cool to have like different sections dedicated to the different worlds.
4 different balls going on. Like, wouldn't that be cool?
I'm sure they would be super thrilled to do all that production work.
A logistical nightmare.
Yes,
that feels so manageable.
Cool from a ticket perspective, because people would want to go see the other like balls that were going on.
Okay, you need to unsay that. We cannot wish that into a universe where Dragonsteel might think to do that.
Can you imagine for Jackson Brimrose having to go from Ellen to Adolin and Ellen to
that'd be funny.
From Kliss to Shallan. I think you would mostly be in Shallan. We would forsake Kliss. But it would be very, very fun to watch him. He could totally do it. He's worn 100 different hats.
Well, I mean, Adolin's
they're kind of
Stormlight maker. I'm like, you could probably be like, oh man, he's stitching up his leg or something. He's not over here right now, you know.
No, you can have him. I don't want Ellen anyway. You take him.
Woof.
Wow.
Harsh but fair. Okay. No, I love the idea of involving the apprentices. I think that's really cool.
That's so
I think it'd be cool.
I love it.
It'd be cool if you had a shard ball where they all sat and argued the whole time.
Okay.
Literally just sit on the sides.
I think it's time for us to wrap up. I do want to be cognizant of the time. I absolutely want to thank both of you for joining us here. This has been a delight. I can do this every day, and I can do this for hours. It is so much fun to not only hear you talk about the kind of the process and a little bit behind the scenes, but also just to hear like the passion that you bring into these characters. I think that's always a concern every fandom has when any kind of adaptation is involved. There's the concern of like bringing people who are there to just like read the lines or what have you. But it's so obvious that both of you are so deeply passionate about not only your roles but also the books and the fandom in general, and that shows. And it's just delightful to be in the presence of people who genuinely and unapologetically love a thing. Like, passion is just fun unless it is on Ashen, then it is the enemy. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all of that stuff. I am sure we will run into each other, if not physically at future Nexuses, then digitally in the online sphere.
And we'll put any links to whatever websites or Instagrams that you want to share with the audience. That'll be in the description.
If you want people to find you somewhere online, if you want to pitch a thing that you are working on, or you will be appearing in, or stuff like that.
You can plug away right now if you want. I don't know if you have anything to plug. Savannah, I love your facial expressions.
Thank you.
I know. Savannah is always so expressive. I have to actually avoid looking at her because I will get sucked in. It's also just because I love her, and I'm just it's just the bi.
That's valid. Yeah.
Just the bi scare inside of me. like, oh, she's so beautiful, and I just can't stop looking.
Stop it! You better take that ring off right now. I'm on the next plane to Virginia. I'm like,
he's downstairs.
We're gonna co-write a Kliss and Shan fanfic.
I will read this. Let me know.
I had talked about because Ryan and I had also talked about that possibility. So it could be the three of us, or it could just be us two. I don't really know.
Yeah, I love triangle. I love it.
But so for me, I don't have anything personally. Obviously, like my Instagram will be there. Obviously, reach out. I love talking to people about the Cosmere. Good, bad, ugly, all of it. But Lift the Bridge is something that obviously people may know about in the Cosmere, but it's the initiative kind of hand in hand with the Next Step coin. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that if you hadn't already heard of it, they have their own Instagram page, as well as a Discord, which is kind of moving to, I think, Patreon. Or maybe off Patreon. No, onto Patreon, right?
They moved from Ko-fi to Patreon.
Ko-fi. Yeah. So it's just a really great resource for the community, and I'm so thankful Brandon Sanderson is doing this. So that's my shout out, is like, be yourself, be here with us, be yourself here with us, and support the Next Step initiative, and lift the bridge if you can and have the time and energy.
Amazing. We love that. Savannah, do you have anything to plug?
Oh man, I mean, just my Instagram. I think just my Instagram. In terms of what I've been up to, I've just been doing lots of art modeling, honestly.
Awesome.
So it's super awesome and fun. I actually got this through Shallan and Howard Lyon, and I just got it from there. And I just and then people were like, "Wait, you're actually really good at this, so you should keep doing that."
Fascinating.
And so,
we should talk about that sometime. That's such an interesting thing as well. So
yeah, dude, let me know.
Savannah really just does it all. She can act, sing, model. She's just a genuinely great person. So
and
if
you're
anyone
19.
needs Savannah,
yes, this is unacceptable. Get out of here.
It is a bit unfair.
Yeah. You can't be so talented and have all these awesome gigs. Come on.
No one knew I was 18 years old until after the ball. And then I was talking to Brandon and Monica, and they were like, "You're 18? You're 18 years old. You're a baby. You're a child? You're a child."
Oh, no.
And
I was surprised to find out you were 19.
I'm genuinely surprised.
Yeah, and that is why now they will be asking for auditioners' ages when they audition.
It's like,
normally they don't, which is interesting.
You know, and so they're like, now they'll be like, okay,
we accidentally could have cast someone nearly 17, and then there's like child labor laws and things that we need to deal with. For sure. So it's like, I guess we do need to ask that.
In the original casting call, they were looking for 17, or they said she was 17. I was like, oh, I'm 18, so like they get to bypass that, but I'm like really young. So, but then everyone found out like afterwards. And I remember, yeah, that was super fun. I mean, that's crazy experience to have right out of high school.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
To knock it out of the park. I mean, like, not only to have the opportunity to do it, but then to knock it out of the park as well. I mean, you deserve every kudos you're getting, and I hope you get way, way more, because you're just. I mean, it's going to be amazing to watch you take off from the peak you're already at.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of like what I'm up to, I think I don't know, like just auditioning, and I just finished a short film, and that should be wrapping up, and like just different stuff like that. I think though, guys, I think I might be going back. I might be going to school because I am a child, and I
As a
think I'm going
professor,
to
I do
college.
recommend school. School's pretty, it's pretty useful.
Yeah, I'm
you
like,
know.
oh, free math tutor, say less. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if you do
I
need
mean-
math help, like,
I am terrible at math, like terrible.
Yeah, well, you and most of this country
it's
apparently.
true. It's true. It's a common
Yeah.
experience. Don't make me go in math professor mode. We're
You-
trying to wrap the show.
Okay, I apologize.
Okay. No. Okay. I'm gonna stomp my gentle but firm foot and say that this is the end of the show. I've done my thanks. We've done some gushing. We've done some promoing. If you are listening to this or watching this and you've made it all the way to here, you can probably make some intelligent guesses about where to find us online. Most of the places that say 17 Shard are us. Not all of them, but most of them are. Discord is where most of the action is happening. YouTube is where a lot of the action is happening. But we do have a forum. We've had a forum for
16 years.
a long
Nearly
time.
16 years.
A long time.
Savannah's like losing
whatever.
it. Yeah, this is in
If
2010.
that's the age I met Sanderson. Okay.
I will unhear that and unlearn this information
No.
immediately.
Unacceptable.
So whatever
Literally.
format you prefer, we probably have it. Unless you are looking for short form, we don't do short form, as
Yeah.
the runtime of this episode suggests.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, either on the call right now or in your ears or in your eyeballs. That is all from us. We will see you next time.
Bye.
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 Thank you.